Well, we can just kind of get started, and then if other people trickle in, they can trickle in. Thanks everyone for coming. We're really excited at NetX to announce this integration with the CI Hub team. We believe that their panel is a game changer for our users, allowing our users to work within applications like Microsoft Office, Google Drive, WordPress, Asana, and more. And so with that, we want to pass it over to the CI Hub team, who's going to take us through. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat, and we'll kind of go through them as they pop up. Thanks. And this meeting will be recorded, so for others that can't join right
now. Okay, thank you, Dan. So welcome everybody. My name is Gerd. I'm working as a customer success manager at CI HUB. The first is the agenda. I would like to say a few words about CI HUB, then where to find it and what the benefits are when you're working with NetX and the CI HUB connector. I will demo a few features within Adobe InDesign, and I would like to show something if you want to, and if there is time enough to do some stuff in Photoshop, Illustrator. I would prefer to do PremierePro because this is something about video. Photoshop and Illustrator will be the same, what you can see in Adobe InDesign. And of course, if there is time, we can do some stuff in Adobe After Effects. But I think the main applications already is InDesign, Microsoft Office, Google Workspace, and I can drop in some Figma and Sketch demos or WordPress. And if there is enough space left, I would like to show how is working together with work management systems like Asana and Workfront. I've currently connected Asana to the system, but it's also working with Workfront. A few words about CI HUB. CI HUB is based in Berlin, in Frankfurt, and in Gießen in Germany. Everything what is developed is done in Germany, so there's currently no one working out of Germany. All developers are based within the company. Our goal to have one access to your digital asset ecosystem is built with a plugin or an add-in, which is currently available for the Adobe Creative Cloud applications. It's available for Microsoft Office 365 applications, for Google Workspace, for Sketch and Figma when it comes to UI, UX design. It's available for WordPress if it comes to CMS systems, and it's currently running on SharePoint. So there will be more host systems added, more applications, more CMS systems, and yeah, that will be done in the next few months. Just someone checking in. So the main thing is we want to have access for all the departments in the company. If it's creatives working with InDesign, if it's a category manager working with Excel, if it's the sales guys who are working with PowerPoint, or if it's an external agency, or if it's legal when it comes to digital rights management. So we offer also some services which can be connected via the CI HUB connector to the NetX system, but I will show that later on. So the CI HUB connector can be found on Adobe Exchange, Microsoft App Source, or whatever, Google Marketplace, wherever these things are stored, or just ask your NetX sales guys who can help you through. I will hand over the PowerPoint presentation. The links are in it, so you can always check and get a free trial and test it up front. There's a CI HUB Academy with some tips and tricks in our website. If you need any support in this case, it's good to have a look on that. Now, what is CI HUB in general doing? It's an in-app solution which connects the next digital asset management system to your application. That means you have, I would say, a management layer that works within Next. If you're working in Next, you do uploads and all this stuff, or manage roles and rights and everything. That's the management layer. But when it comes to consumption of the assets, that's done within the application. That's where the user is working on, and he doesn't want to jump around, open another window, going back and forth and so on. He wants to manage everything within his application. That's why we built the CI HUB connector, which means you don't have only access to the NetX system. You can connect in parallel to work management systems, to cloud storage systems, or let's say stock provider like Getty Images or iStock or Adobe Stock. And you have access to digital rights management, just like Fedel, where you can check all the digital rights of your placed images. The main thing is to get the content into the application without switching windows, and then feed all the channels, if it's analog or digital, no matter what you're going to produce, if it's a document, a brochure, presentations, catalogs, or website, e-commerce, or social media. You're working in your application and you always have access to the assets within your application. That means at the end that your NetX system will be the primary information resource within the app. That means that the system is connected to an ecosystem, could be, as I told you before, workflow management or cloud storage or digital rights management, and it's available in any application. And there will be a few more in the upcoming months. So first, I would like to walk you through the interface, which is quite simple. It always looks the same in every application, no matter if you're in Adobe or Microsoft or in Google Workspace. It always looks like this, what you're going to see here. And for the first part of the live demo, I would like to use Adobe InDesign because it has the largest amount of features. And some features are always depending on the connection, respective the API which is used. But I've tested the NetX system and everything works perfect. So everything you can see here, I will demo on the NetX system. But there are some features, maybe in Microsoft PowerPoint, that can't be done, but that depends on the application itself, because there are some restrictions like linking assets to a PowerPoint document that's currently not doable, but that is a Microsoft thing that is currently not working. But our developers are working on a solution that everything you will see in the InDesign demo, linking assets from NetX to your application, could be done in Microsoft PowerPoint. If you have questions regarding Adobe or so, I would ask you to ask these questions directly after I've ended the demo with Adobe, because when I jump over to Figma and Sketch or PremierePro or whatever, it's better to answer them directly. So I'm going to switch over to InDesign. So what you see here is the panel itself. This is the CI HUB connector, and it's fully integrated in the Adobe environment, which means that it's installed and ready to use. One install and it's ready to use in every application. So it's fully integrated, so you can hide and show it as you know how panels are working in that way. So you can connect to the system and you can have parallel connections. That means you can walk through the folders of your NetX system, walk through images, graphics, documents, any kind of stuff, or videos or MP3 files. It's a complete presentation layer of what you have in your NetX system. It's not only working for displaying, you have also the ability to do full text search. So it uses the search capability of the system. So full text search means it works with any type of search terms you want to use. Search terms are stored. So if you want to use searches that you have created with Boolean operators and you want to add them or recall them, that's simply doable. Just click on them and they will search for the assets. Working with InDesign documents is also quite easy. You have an overview, the style view, you have a list view where you can sort your assets by name, ascending, descending, or the modified date, whatever you want to have. And the cool thing is we have a thumbnail preview. If you have an InDesign document with, let's say, 20 pages, you can walk through the InDesign file by clicking these two little icons on the left corner here, and you can walk through the InDesign document without opening it. So let's open an InDesign document. This is stored, everything is stored in the next system, of course. And we're going to add some images. So here we go. This is my document. It has 2 pages currently, and I'm going to add some images from the NetX system. You can use the full text search, or you can walk through the folders, just what you prefer. Placing images is quite simple. You have a feature, just take the asset, drop it towards the stage, and you can place it. Sorry for that. So now it's loaded. And you can place it into a target frame. Let's grab another one, but I would like to use not the original file because it takes too long at the moment. I will take a thumbnail. So as you can see, I have access to a low-res file within the system, the NetX system. So if I take these ones, just place them, take another one, put them in. And another cool feature is if you double click those little icons, you can have access to the custom metadata fields. And that's a really great feature because that's perfectly working in the NetX system. So you can use the metadata content and place it in your InDesign document. That means just select the target frame, going over here, and move that into this frame or place it on the desktop. Doesn't matter how you're going to work with it. And if your frames are pre-formatted, the formatting works perfectly. The system has some features. If you do a right click on icons, you see that's always related to the context. You can place and link assets, you can replace assets, and you can replace all selected assets, or you can save an asset local, which means it's just simple download. So if I switch over to, let's say, some graphics, and I want to replace this one with this logo, I'm going to select the original because this is a PNG file. Select the original and say, okay, I want to replace it all. It'll replace all versions of the logo that's currently existing and replace them in the whole document. So quite easy to handle. If your job is done, you can just switch to a target folder, maybe your documents, and just go to the system. You can either create a new version of an existing file, or you can create a new file. That means, okay, add this file. This is the InDesign document. It warns me that the name is already in use. Just type a new file name. And you can upload this file from InDesign directly into the NetX system with a PDF if you want to. You can select your existing job options of the PDF, and you can also create an InDesign package if you want to, but if you're working with the CI HUB connector, mostly that's not necessary. I will directly show you why this is not necessary. So let's take this one and create a new file with a PDF. So it'll create the PDF in the backend and will upload it into the NetX system, with just one step. It'll also take a while. Shouldn't have done the recording. So here we go. This is the InDesign file with the preview. This one here, sorry. This is the InDesign file with the preview. And you can also open it again. And creating a new version is quite simple. So let's say we're going to replace this image with another one. Let's say, or place this image over here, make it better viewable. This one. And if you want to create a new version of that file, just click this little icon below, update file from the active InDesign document. Click on OK. And it's going to update the file. To check the versions of a file, it's always quite easy. Just double click it and you see, oh, sorry, it's not ready. And you see that this is version 2 of 2. You can also jump back to former versions if you have the right to do so. So you can handle your complete versioning and your complete assets within the application. So it's quite easy to work with the tool. Yeah. There are some other features included, which is if you're working with a lot of images and you want to use the metadata fields. I'd like to open this file. Let's say you want to place 6 images on this page and you firm with using the data merge system. You can use the multiple asset feature. So you can select multiple assets and do a CSV export of the files and of the metadata fields and connect it to the data merge system, which I did already here. So just select the CSV file. And if you now click on preview, you will see that InDesign generates the content automatically. So everything is perfectly formatted. Everything is dynamic. If it comes to width or the height of these frames. So at the end, if we're fine to go with it, you can say, okay, create a merge document of the export. And if I want to do a preview upfront, you can see that all the content comes in. And if you create a file, it'll render all selected products and move them into the layout with the predefined formatting and the predefined placement options and everything. So that's quite easy to work with the system and use the NetX content to generate multiple pages and just gather content and place it into the system. Quite easy. Some customers use this feature for working with ads and use them with multiple formats. So if you're going to use, let's say, such kind of templates, Yeah, see missing links. I don't want to update these links. So it's the same way of doing that. Just you can use the same CSV export. And if you do a preview, you can render the whole content into these layouts. What I've created here is an InDesign document with various formats. So we have a portrait, we have a square, a portrait, and we have a landscape. And you can render the content into these templates with the NetX system. And you can walk through each product and see how it looks, how it works, how it fits. So, and if you create a merge document, you can create multiple ads in multiple formats with multiple content. So quite easy to do that with the CI HUB connector and this little icon here, which is called CSV export. So we have placed some assets and we don't currently know what happens if we want to do a high-res output if we don't have the assets locally available. So in this case, we have this little icon, which is the links panel. The links panel gives you an inventory of all the placed content, which is done right here. You see every asset. You see where it is located, where it originates. In this case, it's the NetX system. And you can do a check if they are available or not. If there is a newer version, you will get a warning and you can replace them. If you want to do a low-res, high-res switch, you can do that with this bulk operation. So you can say, okay, I want to have the preview size in all placed images. You just click on OK, and it'll replace the content which is done by the original file size and use renditions. And you can see now here that the conversion is selected preview. So everything what's in here is the preview image and not the high-res image. If it comes later to a production and you need to print it, you can hand it over to the printer in this case, or he downloads it via the CI HUB connector. And he says, okay, please relink all the low-res files with the original, and it'll replace every file with the original file without sending them an InDesign package or each file or giving them access to the DAM. That works automatically within this panel. So are there any questions regarding InDesign so far? No. Okay, so another feature is you have a similarity search available. So if you want to select an image which comes from NetX, you can do a similarity search in Getty, maybe. Use the Getty account and then it searches in parallel for similar images in Getty. You can use these images from Getty or from any other stock provider. This is the one I've just connected. I'm going to take a low resolution file and I can replace this file with the one from Getty. Bring it into position. And if you say, okay, I want to buy this image, there is a deep link to this asset. So you can jump directly to your account in Getty, can purchase the images. And if you want to have it in your DAM system, you switch back to your NetX system. You highlight this image and you say, I want to have it in my folder with the documents, let's say, and you click add file and you can choose this file and add it from InDesign directly into your NetX system. Takes a while to refresh. So here we go. This is the image which we have just placed from Getty, and now it's in NetX. Okay. Next is It's also working with PremierePro if you want to create movies, and the footage is stored in the NetX system. Also, the PremierePro projects can be stored in the NetX system. Just open it in PremierePro. And yeah, what will happen is that there are missing links because all the footage is not locally available. And you see that you can get these error messages, which is normal because all the files are locally not available. So we don't care because we can use this link panel and we can search. He makes an inventory of all the material which is used in this video project. And we can check if they are available in the NetX system. You see everything is in blue. They are available. So if I click on relink file, it'll connect all the videos to my current project so that I can render a high-res output, high-res video or whatever. So its connection is getting better. So it's done. All the videos are connected. And as you can see, everything is in place, even sound files or whatever you need. If you have used local footage from your desktop, the same way to use it, just click the Add File button and upload it from the project directly into the NetX system. Okay, so far so good. Working with PowerPoint, Microsoft Office, you get the same look and feel. This is the panel in PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint. You have the full text search. You can browse through folders. And if you want to place assets, jump right into the images. You can also, of course, use all the high-res and low-res elements that are included to keep the file size of your PowerPoint document quite low. So I would say, okay, just use the preview size for these images, and you can place them directly into the layout. The same works for the content, metadata. Just select these target frames, move them towards the canvas, and you can fill in everything which is available in the NetX metadata fields. So yeah, this is really helpful with the renditions because that makes everything more comfortable. There's no huge file size if you're using other stuff, and mainly if you have produced stuff like Photoshop files that I've showed you before. These huge files, you won't be able to place any Photoshop file in these versions of PowerPoint. As you can see, this is a 132 megabyte file, but I can use the preview, and here we go. That's really helpful and easy to use, and great stuff. So let's have a look at the Google Workspace. It works the same way. This is the panel, how it looks like in Google Workspace. I'm currently working in Google Slides. So placing assets, placing content, always the same way, going back and forth. Using the images, you can check if you want to use thumbnails and use them in the PowerPoint slide using the text of custom metadata fields the same way. So that's how it goes in Google Slides. When it comes to WordPress, That means if you're in the media library, all assets that I've placed here are coming from various systems. So if I want to add new files to the media library and I want them to stay connected to my source system, I'll do this with the CI HUB connector. That means it starts the connection, which is currently available. Maybe it's NetX or it's a cloud storage provider like Dropbox or something like that. You can browse through all the files, go through all folders, access images, and place them in WordPress or make them available in WordPress. So any kind of images. Yeah, let's take this one. And you can also use a low-res file, let's say 320 pixels, and so this is used. Can close it, and you see that it's stored in here. So we're currently connected with all the files that are in here to the system. And that simply, so if I call the CI HUB connector and I switch over to this link panel over here, I can also do a complete inventory of all the assets that have been used in my media library. You see some of them are coming from Box, some from SharePoint. One is from Unsplash. This is from Box again, and these two ones are from Dropbox. So if you're using assets from NetX, it's the same way. You can do a check, and if there is a newer version available or anything happens to the asset, you will get a warning, as I showed before in Adobe InDesign. So you can just replace them, and the assets that are in here are automatically updated in your pages or in your posts wherever they are used. So no matter what happens to your assets, you don't have to touch your pages or your posts anymore. Just manage your media library and keep them up to date with the CI HUB connector, and everything will be automatically updated in your websites. So we are through with the main stuff. If there are any questions, I'd like to answer them. Or do you want to see any other application?
Well, if we have time, we could briefly touch on the Asana integration.
Okay. So if it comes to work management and you have to work with, let's say, Asana, you can easily connect to Asana, and you can use various workspaces. So if you have a customer who works with a different Asana system, different workspaces, you can select them here and connect to them. Of course, you need the credentials to log in once to the Asana system. But when you're logged in, you can have all the tasks that are assigned to you, or in this case assigned to me. I can filter them if there is any status, if they are complete and incomplete or only the completed stuff. You can have a full text search for your task. Let's say I'm looking for task number 1. And this is the one over here. You see what is the description, what has to be done, and everything. You can say, okay, the task is completed, if you have your job done or not, depends. You can see all the comments that have been written to this task. You can add a comment from your source system. And of course, you can use all the assets that have been attached to this task. So if I want to place this image in my document, it's the same way, just drag and drop it into your document, and then you can use it. Or if you have attached InDesign documents, just open it in InDesign. The same goes for video files or something like that. That doesn't matter. Okay, same file name. Yeah, this is the one I've just opened from Asana. And even if all the assets are stored in various systems, doesn't matter. You go to the NetX system again and do a check for the whole content, and you can see where it originates. Is it available in NetX or not? Do I want to upload these assets that are originally stored in Box to NetX by just clicking this little plus button? You can see that files are available, files are locally not available. So everything is in here in this check panel. And yeah, the next version we're gonna have is that we will be able to create links in the Asana system to the NetX system. The team is currently working on it. So it will be possible to add images from next to the task, but only as a link. And the high-res file, the original, will stay in Asana. So it's quite easy to manage the whole stuff in here. Yeah. It's working with Asana, but it's also working with Workfront. And we're currently, I think, working on Monday.com or some other kind of work management systems. Yeah, that's will be available in the next months. So that's how it works in Asana. Any questions regarding Workfront, work management systems? So Monday.com, yeah, we are currently working on that. Photoshop is the same. I will show it.
I think it's important to point out that just the functionality between placing images, versioning assets and things between
I will show
Microsoft,
that, yeah.
Google Drive, and the Adobe Creative Suite is all essentially the same workflow and same functionality.
It's the same workflow, yeah.
And while he's doing that, it's within Google Drive, it's interesting to note too that when you're saving those Google Slides and things of that nature, you have the ability to choose which format you're saving back into the system, whether you want to save those as PowerPoint presentations or PDFs or things like that.
So if you're if you're done with your PowerPoint with your Google Slide document, yeah, you can just go back, yeah, to select the target folder, and I think I have that should be, yeah. You just click the add button, and you can say, okay, I want the active Google Slide document, and I want to have it as a PowerPoint. So it will be automatically transformed into a PowerPoint, an ODP, or a PDF. So you can use it in any way. So if you want to convert it to a PowerPoint slide, just click on OK, and it'll be uploaded into the NetX system as a PowerPoint slide from Microsoft PPT. It's automatically converted. The Google Docs are almost stored in the cloud system, so there's no other way to handle that. Instead of save them as a PowerPoint file, and then you can also, of course, open PowerPoint files and convert them. Sure, that's all doable. Yep. Photoshop. We have, let's switch over to the NetX system. The same view, yeah. If you go to folders and let's check this file we've just created. Let's take one of them. Yeah, I can open it in Photoshop. If I have to work with compositions or something like that, and you want to add another image into it, with a right click, you can say place and link or place and embed. So you can not only open, you can place images into existing images, so you can combine the whole stuff. And let's rearrange that. Yeah, you can do compositions. If you want to do versions of images, let's say we do a color change to have a better view. And you select this image and you say, okay, please update this file with the one I'm currently working on from the active Photoshop document. Click on OK. So it'll create a new version in the NetX environment. It'll take a while to refresh, but it'll be done automatically. Yeah, you can use the refresh icon to see what's in there. You see that we are currently on version 2 of 2. I can always jump back to the original, but now I've created a new version. And if it comes to InDesign, and I do a check again, don't know if I have used this image in here. Have I used it? Yeah. So as you can see, there's a little warning. There's a newer file available. I can go into the details and I can see, okay, this is the version I've currently placed. There is a new version available. Just select it and click on relink. And it'll update the file in the document from NetX. Does that answer your question?
And someone had a question about locking assets, if you're able to lock assets when you're placing them.
That always depends on the API. If the API supports locking files, you can do it over here. So we can automate this. That means if someone opens this file, you can say, okay, it's automatically locked, or you can manually lock it. But that depends on the API of the source system. If NetX can lock files and it's available via the API, we can lock them in the same way.
I believe we do support that, all right?
Yeah, I've seen it in your original system. You can lock assets. I haven't seen it in the API. So I have to ask the dev guys if this is currently done. Yeah. Yeah, so this is how it works with Photoshop. If you want to see any other application, so it's the same in Illustrator or in Adobe After Effects. It's always the same workflow. Yeah, and even if you want to do searching for another image in here, yeah, you can also do a similarity search with selected images in Photoshop. So if you say, oh man, I want to have another image, just do a similarity search and it'll search for you in any stock provider which supports that. And you can then use it in your, yeah, here we go. And then you can also use it in Photoshop. Yeah. Here we go. So it's the same way working like I showed you in InDesign. That works in Illustrator and all the other applications too. Are there any other questions? or anything you would like to see? No.
Great.
No
It
question. No
doesn't
question.
sound like there's, yeah. Well, if anyone has any additional questions, feel free to reach out to your account managers, and we're happy to answer any of those questions and get back to you. As we mentioned, there is a free trial if people are interested in trying it out within their applications. Again, just reach out to your account managers and we can help you set that up.
Okay. So thank you very much, and have a nice day.
All right,
Bye
thanks,
bye.
everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Bye.